Hi, I'm Jeremy. Welcome to Steampunk Power-ups. Today we are talking about an expansion to my Mario Kart Google Form activity. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So this is the original map that I made with the Mario Kart, and I just like last time, there are a lot of different things in this sheet. This Mario Kart activity was built on the back of my boss battle activity. So there's a lot of things in here that I want you to be aware are there that I'm going to have hidden to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and hide those right now real quick. And then I'll talk about the things that we are going to use for today. Okay, so the things that I have added to this map, first off, I've added more additional maps. So we have the original Mario Circuit map, and you can choose which players you want to race with. You know, if your students want to race against Toad, or they want to race as Bowser, or any of those sorts of things, you can change those characters and race with those. But I've added some maps based on our classic Mario Kart game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So I added a Rainbow Road map. That was a terrifying classic. You could just fall right off the edge there. I've added a Bowser's Castle map. Fall in the lava on that one. It was a little scary. I added a Ghost Valley map. I think that's my favorite new addition because it added this little gift there, so you have the ghost actually moving around. So those are, and in all of those maps, you have the option to be able to change whichever player that you are racing as. So I like to have my students pick at the beginning who they want to race as and who they want to race against. Just a little fun way to add some voice and choice there. So I don't need to have all 4 of these open. I just need to have the one that I'm going to be using for this particular race. As you can see, my characters are down the ways a little bit because I've put some sample responses in on the Google form already. So I'm going to go ahead and hide Mario Circuit. I'm going to hide Rainbow Road, and I'm going to hide Bowser Castle. Now, technically, you could have all 3 maps open at once and have, or 4 maps open at once and have all 4 races going at the same time, but no need for that. Okay, so that's the first thing I've done. Added some new maps, which are just as easy as picking which map you want to choose from, and I'm going to have my students pick which map they want to do as well, and I'll give them those 4 choices. Next, what else I've added here are the opportunity to roll dice to attack or defend in the race. Now, this is as a dice mechanic that I have done in our standard and a regular boss battle, but I have adapted it for the sake of Mario Kart, and I've adapted it so that we have power-ups. So when you open the sheet, the first 3 rows are going to be hidden. I'm sorry, first 3 columns are going to be hidden here. So if we click to expand there, you can see here I can change these dice magically from dice to power-ups. So now all of those show up as power-ups instead of dice. So that is a new feature that I did not have running last time I shared out the Mario Kart activity. So this is kind of fun because now if I want to have my students have power-ups, I can have this up on the board. I can see how the race is going, and I can say, oh, well, I wonder what power-ups we got, and we can go, oh, it looks like, you know, Mario at Mushroom Valley got a shell, and oh, it looks like Toad got a star, and can kind of have that fun interaction, that fun player interaction there. So that's the other new piece. So today, what I'm going to show you, I kind of already showed you how the maps work. You can just pick whichever ones you want and then hide the rest. So I'm going to show you how this dice mechanic, how this power-up mechanic works so that you can use it with your students if you would like. So in the description of this video, we're going to have this Google form here. And so this is a template Google form that you can change into whatever sort of quiz that you would like. I mean, if it's an assignment, that's fine too. It just needs to be set as a quiz in the settings there. And what I've done is I've got 4 questions. That the only thing that the question says is dice with a number. So this is dice 1, this is dice 2, this is dice 3, and this is dice 4. And what these allow us to do is to have that random number dice roll type mechanic, and then the kids the students get to decide if they want to attack with that dice roll or defend with that dice roll. Okay. So a couple little things here on the setup. If we go to settings here, a couple things to remind you. First off, on your Google Form quiz in settings here, you're going to want to have it be set as a quiz. This should be set this way already when you make a copy of it, and then you are going to then you can have whatever point value you want each of your questions to be for. My system tends to work better with multiple point numbers, so I put each one worth 3, but it doesn't really matter. And then once you have that set, what we're going to do is you're going to hit this little response sheet here, and you're going to open up the response sheet. Like I said, I put in some answers already. And then this link here at the top, you're going to need that link in order to connect it to this Mario Kart game. So when you go to open this up, this response sheet little link here is going to be blank like this. It will be unset up, it'll be angry, it will be sad. So you'll copy this link out of the top here, you'll paste it right in there. And mine I've already given permission, so it will load just right away, but you'll have to, it'll say like a little error right here, you'll hit allow permission, and then it will load up and will be all connected. So let me show you what's happening with this dice mechanic, with this power-up mechanic here. So when your students go to answer their questions and answer the quiz, 4 of those questions are going to be dice questions, dice 1, dice 2, dice 3, dice 4. And when they go to put their answers in, what this is doing is it's importing all of the student answers into this spreadsheet. Normally this is hidden, so they can't see it. They can't go and look at the answers. I want this page hidden normally, right? But I just want to show you. And so it'll pull all this information in here, and each of the questions, right, shows up in the top of these columns here. So I can see here, dice 1 shows up here, dice 2 shows up there, dice 3 shows up there, and dice 4 there. And so what I've done on the dice page here is I've used what's called an HLOOKUP command to pull the information over there. And the reason I use an HLOOKUP is because the HLOOKUP, what it does, it's kind of like the VLOOKUP, is it looks along the row here, and then it takes the information that matches down that column, right? So that means I can have these questions, dice 1, dice 2, dice 3, dice 4, in any order that I want, and this system will pick it up and catch it because it's checking along this column here. All right, so then it pulls all that information over there, and it pulls it into this page where it assigns a random number to each of the answers. And it does that through these hidden rows over here. Okay, so I've got random numbers here generated from 1 through 6, okay, and then I've got this looking up based on the answers that are coming in, the numbered answers coming in, the random numbers here, right? So essentially I've got a dice roll because I've got the random number 1, 2, 6 in there. If you want to switch it up so that you don't get the same set of random numbers the next time, you'll just hit this randomize button. The first time you do it, it's going to ask permission because it's going to run an app script, which I recorded with what's called a macro. And all it's doing is it's taking the random number it's generated here and it's pasting them right there because these can change and these ones are set. Okay, so once you've and really don't need to worry about all this. I'm just explaining how it works, right? So then from this page, it breaks it down into both the dice defense and dice attack pages. Okay, and then as it's pulling these numbers over from this page, it's assigning the image associated with that number off of this chart over here, right? So if I go and I change this to dice, it'll assign it a dice image, right? If I go and I change this to P for power-ups, right? It'll assign the corresponding power-up image, okay? And then what it does is it adds or subtracts those numbers to the movement of the character, which means there's one more thing that we want to concern ourselves with in the settings over here. So for the number of players, we want to enter that in there, how many students you have filling out the form. Whatever victory threshold you want, 70%, 60%, 80%, whatever level average you want them to hit as a class, you'll put that there. The defeat average doesn't really matter so much with the race version of this. Really, the victory threshold ends up mattering more here. So the higher the number on the victory threshold, the farther away the character they're racing against is going to be, right? So if I put this at 10, right, it would move Bowser back farther, right? If I put it at 0, right, it should move him up here. Yeah. Okay, so that's working. That's good. Okay, and then I'm going to want the modifiers on this time, right, because I'm using dice this time. And if you don't want to use the dice components and you just want to use the new maps, then it just works the exact same way as it does in my other video. Okay, so you want your modifiers turned on here with a yes, and then all of your attack averages here, all of these are going to be to no, because these are skills, and that's just for another thing I do with my boss battles. You don't need to worry about that. The only and last thing you might want to worry about here is the dice attack weight. So this determines kind of what percentage of the dice are going towards attack and defense. I tend to set it towards 60-40. My students tend to want to attack a little bit more and defend a little bit less. So I figure about 40% of the time they're defending, which is actually boosting them forward in the race, which is actually probably the better thing to do. And then 60% of the time they're attacking. But otherwise, it should be ready to go, right? I got those settings set, and for my students, I actually use their gamer tags. If you look here, there's a gamer tag column that's hidden for each of these. And that pulls off of the roster page. It's one of our hidden pages here normally. But if you don't run a fully gamified classroom and you haven't put a roster in on that page, then it will just give you that little NA error. So I just hide that instead. We just leave it by email address, because on a Google form, you can set, one of your settings is to collect email addresses automatically. And if you're a Google Apps for Education school, a G Suite school, then it will pull up your students' emails automatically, and they'll be completely correct. And then you got that pseudo anonymity piece going on there. You can pull up the screen and you can say, oh, who got this star? And oh, that was me. And the student can choose to reveal that information or not. Okay, and that's both for the attack and the defense. Once you're ready to play, you can hide the settings page, you can hide this main dice page, and then definitely hide the form data page. And then I would just leave those ones up there. And then you can go ahead and race. So let's go ahead and try it out here. I've got a sample response filled out. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. There we go. And let's go over to the other page and wait for it to load. And we should see, there they go. They move along the race course there. Okay, and actually, if we want to check the power-ups for that most recent response, right, we can see the email I put in was Bowser Castle, so he rolled a star. And we can see here that he rolled a feather, okay, and a mushroom, right? And so then we can see the power-ups that came through. So there we go. So I think that is just about it for today. I think that will do it. I hope you enjoy the new expansion to the Mario Kart Google Forms activity. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at Mr. Cedarquist. And if you want to support the channel, a great way to do that would be to like, comment, or subscribe. Or if you're interested in saying thank you in a little bit more tangible way, I've also shared down in the description the link to my Buy Me Coffee page, so you can be a financial supporter of the channel if you would prefer. As always, the resources I went over today will be in the description for you to copy and enjoy and use with your students to whatever way you would like. So otherwise, that is it for today. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, go out and make something awesome.